What goes into building that motion? Like as you sort of thinking about standing up
Yeah.
a partner program.
Yeah. The one benefit that I had at LeanData that I was really grateful for is I had a CRO, Steve DeMarco, who really understood and appreciated the partnership motion. I think, one of the things that I've learned in being in partnerships now for, almost 3 years, if you have an executive team or executives that don't believe in partnerships, it's very hard build something and get investment in the right ways to get it to grow in the right ways. And so, Steve understood that and was willing to make the investment to build it. While he was there, he left about a year before I did, and so during that time that he was there, we really built this really great thing because he was bought in on the idea and the concept of how partnerships can grow your company. And I'll say this too. Like the other thing that I got introduced to as part of partnerships was kind of getting closer to Crossbeam. And Crossbeam, Bob Moore, his whole philosophy is, you shouldn't have to have cold calls, right? If you have a good ecosystem and you have a good partnership landscape, you should be able to drive a lot of your business through connections you have through your partners. And he calls it ecosystem led growth. And he wrote a really good book about it. But, one of the things I've learned is like, if you don't have buy-in at your executive level to make that work, it just doesn't work. And so I think one of the first things I asked Nicholas when he wanted me to join, I'm like, are you all in on partnerships? Because again, like it's very difficult to go back and say, attribution for partnerships is very difficult. It was one of the challenges that I had, right? So when I looked at it, I kind of have the belief that, nothing is, people that come in on your demo request form, they don't come out of nowhere, right? There is a reason why they're coming to you, right? And so one of the things I found was, in doing research on our inbound leads from our contact me demo, contact us, I want a demo form, I would ask the sales rep to just ask the question, like, can you ask them how they heard about LeanData, right? And the thing that we found was 44, I think it was 44% of the time, it was a partner that had told this person about LeanData, and that's why they were coming to check it out. And so I could literally go back and say, wow, okay, all these inbound requests that was contact me now weren't from marketing. They were from partnerships, right? And I had documented all this and my team did it and we were really proud of it, right? Because again, a lot of times partners, you put in these referral programs where it's like, register the deal, give me, tell me all the details and, we'll give you a referral fee. Well, a lot of times that doesn't necessarily work because sometimes I will say there are partners that are like, I don't even care about the referral fee. I just want to do the right thing for my customer. If the right thing for my customer is to position your product, well, then I'm just going to tell them to go check it out. Well, that's what happened all the time, right? And even the same thing happens on the technology side. You have technology partners that aren't going to register deals, but they'll talk about you, right? They'll be like, hey, go check out, this company, go check out LeanData, right? If you're a technology partner, you have an integration, like they're not going to register the deal, but they're going to talk about you. And that kind of very subjective attribution is difficult to track. And you have to have executives that understand that there's going to be an investment around this that is not going to be one-to-one, ROI attributable, that you are just going to trust me to go do and build and make happen because you have to have it and you have to understand that you're going to get business from it that I'm not going to be able to track for you. And Nicholas gets it. So I was really glad to join and kind of build out what I was doing previously and making it work for these partners that obviously really liked what I was doing.
It reminds me a lot of just generally marketing in general, where like I think some of the best marketing you can't perfectly attribute. And like, posting on LinkedIn or a billboard or things like that, like it all really drives a huge impact, even if the little UTM tag, in this form didn't say that. And so I think of partnerships the same way. We tried to stand it up multiple times at Lattice, and it was kind of okay. But yeah, we never really got especially on the technology partner side of things, the like engineering resources to actually go build the integrations. And so it's like, all right, this isn't working because we didn't invest in it. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about. And I'm curious, like when you think of building partnerships, is it technology partners? Is it marketing partners? Like what type of partners, or maybe it's all?
Yeah, I mean, what I've kind of said on the technology partnership side, I'm like, you can go build integrations. Those are great, right? Will they get used? Will they get adopted? Who knows, right? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. If it exists and it's not being used, if you are still doing the right things, otherwise, it really doesn't matter that you have an integration to begin with, right? Because if you're building out the use cases, you're building the relationships, you're doing all the right things on the back end, getting the sales teams connected through Crossbeam so they understand, if I have a deal and they have a prospect, or I have a prospect and they have a deal, we're going to cooperate and talk about what the use case is. We're going to talk about the integration if there is one. That is the key, right? That is what's going to drive pipeline. That's what's going to drive revenue. Yes, the integration will make it sticky in the long run, but on the front end of the sales side, like where you're going to close deals, where you're going to generate pipeline, the integration isn't really as, it's more of a Trojan horse. It doesn't really matter, right? It gets you in the door, and what you want to be able to do is drive that partnership between the sales teams, drive the marketing, the co-marketing, doing the definitions of the use cases, doing the webinars, educating educating your customers. That's the key piece in my mind. The back end piece is like, okay, now that they're customers, sure, yes, CSMs, please go get them to use the integration. It will make it sticky, but even if you don't have high adoption on that integration, if you do the right things otherwise, it doesn't really matter, right? And again, that goes back to having an executive team that understands, look, tracking adoption isn't the holy grail, right? Going back to understand, like I said, how many referrals are we getting? Like, these inbound contact me now requests, are they coming from our technology partners? Well, great. Like that's success in my mind. Because what I want to do as a partner leader is bring pipeline in. I want to get pipeline through the front door. Sales team, CSMs, they're going to do their job once the deal closes, and once the deal's in the pipeline. I think partnerships on the front end just need to be a pipeline generating machine. And they need to do it through those relationships they have with the partners, whether it's technology or service partners.
I totally agree.